Okay, so welcome again, guys. My name is Arnold, Dr. Arnold from Preston, Lancashire. And we've got a familiar face here. We've got Aliyah, who's a dental student,
Hello.
second year now at Sheffield. And we are going to be going through Aliyah's personal statement. So she managed to get 5 offers, 4 offers for dentistry and 1 for dental hygiene and therapy. So we really want to see what was so impressive about her personal statement and learn how we can also make our personal statements better, your personal statements better as you apply to dental school. So thank you, Aliyah, for joining us again.
Thank you for inviting me once again.
Before we get into your personal statement, I was just thinking about the things that I look for when I'm looking at a personal statement for dentistry. So the 3 things really. The first thing that I'm looking for is this person motivated? Are they showing within the personal statement that they've been continually showing reasons why they want to become a dentist, why they want to get into dental school? Are they showing that throughout the personal statement? Have they explored dentistry, through work experience, talking to dentists, dental students? And are they suitable? Could this person, are they showing that they're caring, that they're empathetic, that they can be a healthcare professional, that they can be professional? So those are the 3 things I'm usually looking for in personal statements. How about yourself, Aliyah?
You summed them up so well. I think definitely I agree with you in terms of motivation, suitability, and exploration. Those are the 3 key things. And then I feel like a lot of students they spend too much of their personal statement packing in too many skills that they think admissions tutors are looking for in students that want to become a dentist. And so they put in all of these different skills and then they don't have enough to put in about themselves. So I say that in terms of just put in the key skills that an admissions tutor would like to see in terms of, do you have the potential to be a good dentist and a good dental student? And I think those are communication, empathy, interpersonal skills are really, really important, because at the end of the day, you are going to be interacting with patients. Um, Also leadership, because
Mm,
when you're a dentist and when you're working in a dentist, you're most of the time you're going to be working alone, you and your dental nurse, so you really need to have that sense of leadership, and I think that's really important to include in your personal statement. And something a little bit different from medicine as well, because medicine is all about that multidisciplinary team, and while that's very similar in dentistry, I think there's more of that independence
yeah.
in dentistry, where you really need to show you've got that leadership skills as well. So also time management, but I think you don't need to explicitly say that. You can prove that by what you say anyways. So
Yeah.
those are the things that I would look for in a personal statement.
Awesome. So let's get straight into it. Let me screen share and we will start looking at your personal statement. So just tell us a little bit
Uh,
about how you went about, thinking of putting your personal statement together. How long did you give yourself?
Oh, honestly, I'm not a good example whatsoever. So, my school had been hammering me to get my personal statement a draft in before summer, and I made excuses like everyone else. And I just didn't give myself much time at all, to be honest. I think it was in September that I really started on it, and I think it came up to, I think a good two weeks is when my personal statement revolutionized. Um, but if I was going to tell other students, I would definitely say you need longer than that. And it was because I spent every night doing it for 2 weeks that I was able to get it from really, really poor to the quality you have today. Reading the Student BDJ and Dental Update alongside completing the Future Learn Discover Dentistry course has nurtured an enthusiasm for the remarkable advancements in modern dentistry. From ivory bone dentures to customized acrylic teeth, the face of dentistry has transformed. No longer is the profession characterized by pain relief alone, but amending insecurities in an age of increased emphasis on aesthetics. I aspire to be a dentist and contribute in a field which has a significant positive impact on society.
Okay, so straight off the bat there, you're showing that you've already been exploring dentistry. And
Yeah.
did you start off with this intro? Was this the first part that you put down?
Most definitely not. To be honest, my first paragraph was where I literally went through so many changes.
Yeah.
And it was actually the hardest for me. And that's why I recommend that leave your first paragraph till the end. So, what you have here today, especially the first 2 to 3 lines, that was actually my fourth paragraph. So, I
Okay.
had a paragraph talking about wider reading and exploration um, and how to show like my commitment towards dentistry and what I've done. And then I remember one of my teachers saying that, you know what? Why don't you put that in your introduction? And for ages, I couldn't understand what she meant by how can I put that in my introduction? And I think one day something just clicked in my head, and I was like, do you know what? Why don't I start with that?
Yeah.
Because I'm showing how I got into dentistry, where my fascination came from. The fact that it's through reading journals, it's through completing this Discover Dentistry course, which is in fact produced by the university I'm at right now. So,
Yeah.
and I'm literally taught by Dr. Chris Stokes as well. So that's absolutely amazing. But what you see here today, that first paragraph, I promise you is not like that. I went from completely different first paragraphs. I got my dad and my sister's support, and they're English students. And honestly, we were talking about some philosophical things in that first paragraph. I
Yeah.
showed it to one of my teachers, and they were like, Aliyah, no, honestly, what you had before was so much better. And and therefore, like, a tip I would give to you is that you're a science student, you're going into a scientific degree. Um, don't make it too philosophical. Um, skip out all of that waffle and just get straight to the point. Use simple language and don't overcomplicate things. Like, it shouldn't feel forced. I think the flow and the read of something is really, really important, because if it sounds quite robust, if it sounds quite forced and awkward,
Yeah.
you're not going to get that feel to read on. And also, you're trying to present yourself on a piece of paper as well, and although that's really difficult, it's just something you've got to work on.
So what are
Yeah.
some ideas for making your introduction engaging? So, you're saying don't do it first, okay? But once you've done the other parts, what are you
Yes.
then doing to then make this engaging intro?
I think once you've got your other paragraphs, you'll have ideas of what to put in your first paragraph, because ultimately it is a motivation for dentistry. And as you can see here, I've written that, but I've not written it very explicitly or very plainly that I want to become a dentist because I want to help people, and I want to become a dentist because I'm interested in science. I've
Yeah.
said that, but I've said by reading the student BDJ. So I'm already showing I'm interested in science because I'm reading articles in my spare time.
Yeah.
And I'm showing that I'm committed towards dentistry and where my fascination came from, because I've completed this Discover Dentistry course. At the end of the day, admissions tutors are not expecting you to know everything about dentistry, and they're not expecting your life to be dentistry either. They just want to know whether you whether you can justify your commitment and whether you can prove how committed you are. And it's not just talk and no show, if that makes sense.
All right. Perfect. Perfect. Good start. Let's carry on.
No worries. Can we just go a bit more down?
A bit more.
Yeah. Actually, I can just move the box. That's fine. Absolutely. Okay. Undertaking work experience at NHS and private practices has enabled me to recognise the influence of a region's socio-economic status on public dental health. Within a 20-mile radius, the number of children's hospital referrals for extractions was evidently greater. Reading a BBC article entitled "Rotten Teeth More Likely in Deprived Areas" highlighted the urgent need to target preventative measures at families. As a tutor for children, I've appreciated that they can adopt healthier habits quickly due to their impressionable nature. Therefore, my ambition is to one day connect with schools in the local community to advocate oral hygiene.
Okay. So here you've started to introduce work experience. Um,
Yes.
I'm not seeing anything saying you've done 5 weeks or 10 months work
So
experience, and you managed to get some offers.
Yes, so I think everyone thinks that you need to have 6 months in a hospital or you need to have 6 months in a practice, and every Saturday I've been there. Honestly, you don't. I know Manchester is one of the universities that require 2 weeks, and so I completed 2 weeks work experience um, to kind of meet the requirements of every university I was going to apply to. However, they already know that from my UCAS application. They already know that for Manchester, they have a separate form where you put that information in.
Yeah,
And when it comes to interviews, they will ask for a letter stating the days that you did and where you did it at. So I don't need to waste those characters in my personal statement
mm,
saying that, oh, I did 5 weeks or I did 2 weeks. Because honestly, it's not about the quantity, it's about the quality. So even if you spend one day, it's about what you've picked up from that one day, how you reflected on that one day. Because ultimately it's all up to you and how well you pick up from the experiences you've learned,
yeah.
if that makes sense.
That's very
But
good because that's a trap that I actually fell into when I was doing mine years ago. That
oh
I
wow,
thought that I had to put down how long I'd spent at each place, but in fact,
yeah,
you don't, like you're saying, unless the university is like Manchester and they specify, and they'll give you
yeah,
a way to show that.
yeah,
So that's something
definitely.
that you shouldn't stress about.
Oh, of course not. And if the university is really concerned with the amount of work experience, they will have that on a separate application form, or they'll have a separate box there available where you input dates. So don't put that into your personal statement. And also, if you put in 5 months, you're already giving the admissions tutor some like this expectation that you've learned absolutely loads and loads and loads because you've spent 5 months there. So you should have. And therefore, if that doesn't follow up in what you're saying, it kind of puts a negative tone to it already.
Yeah.
So that's just something to consider as well.
All right. So yeah, just talk to us about this paragraph and what you were trying to put across.
Okay, so this isn't your conventional work experience paragraph, and when I read further on, you'll realize my next paragraph is my conventional what I've learned from my work experience. But this paragraph actually came about from something that I saw in my work experience, and it was that in one practice that I went to, um, there were children, literally 16, 17-year-olds, who had all their teeth taken out.
Mm,
Um, they were the dentist was talking to the patient and his mother saying that if you do not look after your teeth now, if you don't cut out the sugar, if you don't brush twice a day, and for example, other things, you're going to need dentures. You're honestly going to need dentures at the age of 17, which is absolutely shocking. And I was
yeah.
so surprised by that because you never think that this is reality. This is outside of our homes. This is what reality is for a lot of people. And a lot of people don't consider their oral health or their dental health to be as significant as their general health. And therefore you can see that. But then when I went to another practice, and I think one was in Preston as well, over there you had 70-year-old senior citizen patients with practically a full set of teeth. And so it really just highlighted to me that the region's socioeconomic status and like where the dental surgery is placed had an impact on the patients in terms of like the area they're in and what type of patients you see.
Yeah.
So it was something that I really wanted to put across, and then I did more research on it, and then I found articles like rotten teeth more likely in deprived areas, and that basically just confirmed what I'd seen in my work experience with solid facts and figures that, Aliyah, do you know what, this isn't just a rare observation or something spontaneous that you've just seen, but this is the reality in a lot of places.
Yeah.
So and then what I did was I really love linking things, and I think it makes it seem a lot more seamless. So I brought in the fact that I'm a tutor as well already. I love working with children. And then therefore I brought in the fact that, oh, my ambitions for the future as well, that I want to work with schools in the future, and I want to advocate oral hygiene because children are innocent. Children, if they've got a good example, they will do anything. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's really what I wanted to put across.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like that. What you're seeing right now is a final draft,
Yeah.
and there were massive paragraphs that I had to cut down. But yeah, that was just my thoughts
Yeah,
for that
I
paragraph.
like it because it shows all three things that I'm looking for. It shows your motivation. You're going to
Yeah,
NHS and private practices. It shows you've explored. Sorry, it shows that you've explored by going to these different practices. It shows your motivation. The fact that you're reading articles,
yeah,
you're doing what you can to find out more, and it also shows your suitability because you've shown that you're a tutor for children and that you can display um, the necessary skills to be an advocate, for oral hygiene. So it's linked in everything quite nicely there.
thank
Okay,
you.
let's move on.
Okay, so this is your conventional work experience paragraph. Okay. Observing an elderly patient visit the dentist for a dental clearance in preparation for her hip replacement surgery led me to value the art of communication. Clear and open communication was essential in ensuring that the patient's autonomy was respected and that she was fully informed. Moreover, the importance of a healthy flow of contact between the hospital and practice was evident, as clear assessment notes were vital in ensuring a successful surgery, giving me an insight into the holistic approach of a dentist. Being head girl of my high school has allowed me to improve upon my own communication, leadership, and adaptability skills in a range of situations. I was responsible for inspiring and managing a prefect team, our largest endeavour being the collection of 200 gifts for a hospice.
Yeah, yeah. So again, I love the fact that you're talking about, what you've experienced. This is personal to you. It's not generic. It's not, it only applies to you.
Yeah,
And the fact that you've reflected, and that's a skill I think a lot of people struggle with. They
it's
put
really
down what
hard.
they've done and seen, but people struggle with reflecting, and it's the reflecting part which really shines through with personal statements. And
Definitely.
again, the last part, when you're talking about being a head girl, it's almost like saying, pick me for your dental school because I am the person. I've shown what I've seen, I've reflected on it, and I am this person. So I like how that pattern is showing through your paragraphs.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't think it was intentional, but I'm really glad it's put there. It's got that across, anyways. And I think if I was going to give everybody one tip, one of my main tips is you need to have systematic paragraphs. Your paragraphs, as you can see here, all I was talking about was communication. Well, my main focus was communication skills. So I talked about communication I saw on my work experience. Then I've talked about the importance of communication, and then I've talked about how I have these communication skills, and I've proven that I have these communication skills. But I've not talked about communication and empathy and teamwork and listening skills in all in one. And I think that's a trap that many fall into. And it just leads to sounding listy and
Yeah.
repetitive and like you're not really reflecting. So, one key tip I would give to everyone is systematic paragraphs. Each paragraph should only have one focus, whether it be empathy or whether it be communication or whether it be leadership or teamwork, but one focus, and really utilize a skill in the right context. So empathy I would always use in a voluntary context. For example, like on my volunteering in a care home, I saw this, and then I would bring empathy in there because it just fits in. It's a perfect skill to go with that.
Yeah.
So whereas communication with my head girl and with this elderly patient, that all just fitted in together. And I think that's really important. When you're planning, that's really important as well, to try and fit everything together and make it link.
Awesome. And then the next one, yeah, let's read the next one.
Let's do it. As a volunteer at a hospice and a carer for my aunt who spent 2 years in hospital, I try to appreciate the sensitive journey of each patient. Observing the nurse's empathetic and respectful approach towards a dementia patient feeding her teddy bear has given me a greater awareness of my own interactions. While initially I found working in this environment difficult, I've now strengthened my emotional intelligence.
Yeah. So this short paragraph here, what made you separate it and not put it in with the previous paragraph?
I think it's like what I literally just mentioned in terms of I'm talking about something else. I've talked about communication. I've concluded that paragraph. Now I'm talking about another skill that's vital for dentistry and that I have improved upon. So empathy. And I think a lot of people are quite hesitant in using words like try and might. And I think if you're not sure, don't use it. But in this case, I'm showing that I have the potential, and these skills are going to be ever evolving. I'm going to develop them as I go through dental school as well. For example, like emotional intelligence, I'm going to develop that as well. And I wrote in the beginning, I try to appreciate the sensitive journey of each patient, because unless you're in that person's position, you can't fully appreciate it firsthand. So I think if you're unsure about using words like try and might, don't. But if you feel like it goes there, don't be. I think it's like, don't be too overconfident, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you've got to show that you're eager to learn, and you're eager to grow and improve, and that you're not a ready-made dentist. And I think that's where you go between being quite overconfident and then humble, but then you're showing that you have all the necessary skills anyway. So it's showing off in a subtle way.
Yeah. And I think as well, it proves this thing of you're reflecting. You're always reflecting. You've observed the nurse's empathetic approach, but you've reflected. It's given you a greater awareness of your own interactions,
Definitely.
leading to the strengthening of your emotional intelligence. So again, I'm liking how it's flowing.
Thank you.
Okay, let's carry on.
Let's do it. Alongside my A-levels, I work weekly at food festivals. Engaging in frequent conversation with a diverse range of customers has enhanced my interpersonal skills and enabled me to discover a passion for interactions. Working in a pressurized environment has also brought out my logical and rational nature, an asset for a career in dentistry. Furthermore, by aiding my father in his tailoring business, cutting patterns and sewing buttons, I've improved my hand-eye coordination, sparking my interest for a manually dexterous career. One of my greatest learning experiences has been to complete the intensive course of memorizing the Quran, consisting of over 800 pages. Early mornings and late nights soon became a habit, but my resilience and an appetite for enrichment kept me motivated.
Okay, so if you want to get into dental school, you need to memorize over 800 pages,
Definitely
and then you're
not.
guaranteed to get a place at dental school. I think I would get you in. I'd accept you just on that.
Oh, I think the reason why I put that in is because spirituality is quite important to me, and at the end of the day, it's my personal statement. So
Yeah,
I really need to show what's important to me, and memorizing the Quran, while it might be a spiritual journey, there are so many skills that are transferable between academics, between your life, and between this course that I completed, because
yeah,
it was long periods of focus when you're sitting there and you're memorizing something that's not even in English, it's in Arabic, and so it's not even my first language. So therefore, I'm already showing that I have the ability to work on something for a long period of time and have that focus element as well. And then at the end of the day, it's commitment. So this course, I've not written it there, but it took me 4 years.
yeah,
4 years. I began at the age of 11, so it's quite young, and I finished at 15. And luckily, it was a year. The way I planned it, it was a year before I was starting my GCSEs. And so dentistry is a 5-year course. And in my interviews, I spoke about how I've already completed a 4-year course, and I can already show that I have the commitment necessary. And I
yeah,
think for admissions tutors, that's really important to highlight to them, because at the end of the day, they're investing in you as a student, especially because while you might be paying 9,250, they are paying a lot more for your education, and so they
yeah.
definitely do not want to drop out. And so that was a little bit of my reasoning behind that. Not exactly, but just reflecting on it now, that's what I think. And then I've also got manual dexterity in there. So I think comparing a medicine personal statement to dentistry, that's where you really find a difference. You need to talk about how you can prove that you have a passion for manual dexterity. And luckily, it just so happened that my dad was in the tailoring business at that time, and I used to help him out. So I
Yeah.
thought, so my dad was like, "Why don't you talk about that?" And I thought, "Oh yeah, that's true." Um, and then, like I always say, don't tell me you've got time management skills. Show me. So the way I did that was I subtly wrote alongside my A levels. So I'm telling them, okay, I do my A levels and I work a job. In which I'm improving my pupil skills, and I'm helping my dad out, and also I'm also on this spiritual journey as well. So I'm showing them that I'm an all-rounded individual, which is essentially what you need to survive a career in dentistry.
Yeah.
I believe anyway.
Somebody messaged me recently and was asking, how do you link non-dental um, work experiences or experiences into your personal statement? And, you know, what you've been doing here and previously with the volunteering, this
Yeah.
is how you do it. Without
Oh, thank
explicitly
you.
saying, you know, I did this, therefore it means this. You know, you've woven it quite nicely. As well, you've talked about, yes, you were doing A levels, but you didn't start talking about, I did chemistry, I did biology, we
Yes,
learned about the cells, we learned about diseases, you know. So why didn't you take that route?
Um, do you know what? I think it might have been the support from my school. So I don't think they told me to really bring in my A levels. And then when I was researching online and on what I could, what my paragraphs, the sort of structure should be, um, it didn't really mention that. And also, I thought, in terms of like a personal opinion, what is my A levels? Everyone's going to be doing biology and chemistry because it's the requirement for dentistry. And my third A level, which was history, I've brought that into the paragraph just below. So I'm already telling you what my choices are in
Yeah,
a non-explicit way without wasting characters. And
awesome.
also, it's not adding anything. Everybody's going to be doing biology and chemistry. Everyone's studying cells. Everyone's looking through a microscope at times. It's not bringing anything new.
Yeah, awesome. Let's carry on. I think if we do the last two together.
Definitely. As a confident public speaker, I spoke at a conference about the impact of perfectionism on the mental health of young people. My aim was to raise awareness of the future implications on healthcare professionals, mindful of the importance of a healthy work-life balance. I'm an active member of the Young Scientist Journal and played a key role in organising the smooth execution of the YSJ Conference 2018. My zeal for debating has been heightened by competing in the Great Debate competition, delivering a speech on the significance of the extension of the franchise on British democratic history. I genuinely believe my future lies in the field of dentistry. I look forward to being a part of a dynamic community and fulfilling my ambition of empowering the youth through preventative education.
So with these, so with the this paragraph here about being a confident public speaker, you know, what was your aim? What were you trying to really hammer home?
So this was my hobbies paragraph. So my hobbies, extracurricular activities, my interests. So um, public speaking and debating and things like that. Honestly, I absolutely love it, and that's one of the reasons why I enjoyed Head Girl so much. And I wanted to show. So I went to a conference, a conference held by the University of Manchester, where you could deliver a topic of your choice to a panel. And although it was optional, I literally jumped at the opportunity, and I thought, why not? And the topic I went for was the impact of perfectionism on the mental health of young people. And I thought, you know what, how can I bring this in without saying I went to a conference at the University of Manchester, they gave me this opportunity, I took the opportunity. Like, there's no need to show the whole thought process, and I just need to drop it in. And if it's significant, then they'll pick up on it in my interview, and I can talk about it then. And also, mental health is a really big thing as well. So I thought bringing that in just shows that I'm mindful of that, and I've got an awareness of mental health as well, especially in a career like dentistry,
Yeah.
where unfortunately we're seeing so many more suicide cases and so many more cases around ill mental health.
And then the conclusion.
Okay. My conclusion was literally me just being like, please, I really want to get into dentistry. I genuinely believe I'm for dentistry, and that's not a lie. That's not just me fibbing. I genuinely believe this is where I want my career to be. And then what I've done is I've kind of like made it, then kind of like eased it out and said it's a dynamic community, so I'm kind of flattering them as well. And then I link it back to my first or second paragraph, where I talk about wanting to work with schools in the local community. So I wrote empowering the youth. I think it is literally, second paragraph. Therefore, my ambition is to one day connect with schools in the local community to advocate oral hygiene. Just a last
At
sentence.
the end there.
There we are. So then I've linked it back to, if it's your ambition, then show it's your ambition. And I have done by saying right on my final paragraph where I'm leaving my touch, and I'm leaving my final words. I'm saying that the reason why I want to go into dentistry is I want to empower the youth through preventative education. And
That links
uh,
quite nicely as well to just that bit here.
yeah,
The
definitely.
significant
Significant
impact.
positive impact on society. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And I think a lot of people and this preventative education was all introduced to me by the dentist that I had the opportunity to conduct my work experience under, and then it was also highlighted in my Future Learn Discover Dentistry course that I completed. So therefore, if anyone's unsure about where to go with a personal statement, honestly, once you've got the bare bones of it down, go then and research. So go and do these online courses and reflect on your work experience. Like I literally have here, this is my book that I took to all my work experiences, and it's a bit shabby now, but that just shows it's been used. And every day, all my different patients that the dentist used to talk about, I used to write everything down.
Yeah.
I've even got something from my hospital work experience in there as well. So honestly, if you're going to do work experience, or even if you're doing virtual work experience, take a book, write down things that you learn, and do you know what? It might just seem like random jargon and terms that you don't understand, but that's where Google's from for, or ask people, because honestly, the dentists that I conducted my work experience under, the two dentists, I'm so grateful to them. The knowledge that I have today is all
Yeah.
down to them and them only. So make use of your contacts, make use of people who are in the dental field. They're literally your gold mine.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's everything.
Okay. So, I mean, I'll give you a few moments before you tell us the key parts of a personal statement. So, in terms of summarizing, I mean, what I look for, I said the three things, but in terms of the structure of the personal statement and the flow of it, you know, we want to see, you know, in a paragraph, your whys, or in several paragraphs, we want to see the work experience has been included. We want to see that volunteering has been included. We want to see some level of wider reading and study, and then a
Yeah.
nice conclusion just to bring that all together. How would you summarize the structure overall?
I think so. Definitely, initial paragraph motivation, then bring in your work experience, then volunteering, wider reading and study, extracurricular, hobbies and interests, and then your final lines.
Yeah.
I think this is something I mentioned before. Systematic paragraphs are very, very important.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you are presenting yourself on a paper, so you need to show the admissions tutor that this is the way I think. I am thoughtful. I am concise. I am a logical person. And if you have these systematic paragraphs where there's a key message of the paragraph, whether it be communication in one paragraph, empathy in another paragraph, whether it be people skills. So in my so the first paragraph is my motivation, and then also my wider reading mixed together. Like I'm not too set about a set structure. I like to link things together, and I think that makes it a lot more interesting to read as well. The paragraph after that, I've talked about again wider reading, and also what I noticed on my work experience. So I linked those together. Paragraph after that was fully about work experience, and then also bringing it back to me. So this is what I've observed about a dentist, and therefore how can I prove that I have these skills within me. And then my volunteering paragraph, I always say this is a perfect caring setting to bring in empathy and the fact that you are a caring individual, you are a respectful individual. So yes, that was my volunteering paragraph. And then my paragraph after that was to show that time management. So dentistry is not my whole life. I'm passionate about dentistry, but there are so many other things that I'm passionate about. And I've got manual dexterity in there. I've got people skills in there. But all in all, it's about me as a person. So this is me showing to the admissions tutor that when I come into university, I'm not just going to be completing dentistry. I will get involved in your societies, and I will be fully engaged in university life as well. So by putting that in there, I'm showing that dentistry is not my life. I don't just sit reading articles all day. My family is important to me. Therefore, I helped my dad out. Having a job is important to me as well. Putting myself under pressure is important to me. My spirituality is so important to me. And therefore, that was my reasoning behind that paragraph. And then I talk about my passion, my hobbies, my interests, which is public speaking, debating. I talk about clubs I'm involved with. I'm an active member of the journal. And I think that's it.
Yeah. Awesome. No, thank you very much for sharing your personal statement and how you drafted it. And guys, make sure to subscribe, tune in to the next video, turn on your notifications. And if you liked this type of video, just let me know in the comments section, and we'll try and make some more of these.